Welcome, everyone. So, my name is Anne, and this is Ashley.
Hi,
And
everybody.
we are here today to channel Tim Bergling, also known as Avicii. So, about a month ago, we did a video with Liam Payne, and we thought we were one and done. It was something that we haven't done before. Um, and yeah, it was just requested by Liam. So to honor him, I wanted to do that. He had some messages he wanted to get across. And shortly after, me and Ashley were talking, and we're like, how amazing would it be to connect with him, with Avicii? Um, I know I've loved Avicii since he came out. I saw him in Las Vegas in about 2014. And I remember at the time, this was pre spiritual awakening, and just seeing him and just saying, like, he's not from here. He's not from this planet. He has such a beautiful, expansive energy, and his music is so uplifting. And I believe it changed a generation. But again, this is not something we regularly do. So it was kind of a little bit of a dream. And then we were watching the documentary that came out last week, and I was just in awe of like what a genius he is and he was, and just the way that he created music. And he came through to me at that point. So he gave me his blessing, and I'll let Ashley share kind of how it came to be for her. But yeah, we're really excited today to panel him. It is such an honor. And yeah, Ashley, if you want to share.
So similar to Anne, I watched the documentary. My son is a huge fan. He is much younger than we are, so he's listening to Avicii in a totally different way than we did. Um, and so we watched the documentary together, and I could literally see my son just radiating watching Tim Avicii. Um, and Anne and I started talking about it and just started talking about how amazing he was and how he uplifted so many people with just his energy and his bright light. And after Anne told me that she had gotten the blessing from Tim, I started just receiving a bunch of questions that we could ask him. So these aren't questions that I made up. These are questions that kind of just channel through me. Um, yeah, so that's basically it. And then we've had like over the course of like the last week or so, we've had lots of different signs come through, and we've just both been so blessed to get
Yeah,
those signs.
yeah. And he's definitely a quieter, gentler soul, the way he comes through. A little more reserved, but definitely excited to connect with him today. So just gonna take a moment to call Tim in. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so I feel like he's here. So if you want to start asking some questions,
Perfect. Um,
he's
so
saying,
I
sorry, he's saying hi, hello, everyone.
Hi. um, so I will start with, something a little bit kind of easier. They're not in order, so if I'm kind of reading, shuffling through them, because I just write them as they kind of come. Um, so you are one of the most influential people in EDM. How does that make you feel?
He's saying proud right away. And yeah,
Yeah.
again, if you're new to this, I'm just going to answer what I'm receiving, the messages I'm receiving. I'm not going to speak for Tim, but I'm just going to share what he's sharing with me. So he's saying proud, but he's also very humble the way he comes across. So he's saying there are so many brilliant EDM artists, and he he doesn't, I don't know, I guess take that credit. He feels
Yeah.
like there are, and there's so many new emerging ones that are on the way, but he's definitely proud of the work that he's done and that he's contributed to that genre.
Yeah. When you started playing music and started experimenting with music, what was your intention behind it?
He's showing me he just loved it. Like it was the frequency,
Yeah.
like it just made him feel a certain way. And he was showing me like he struggled a lot as a kid, like very sensitive to the world and the energy around him. So music to him was also like almost an escape. So he was able to, be creative, but also just it kind of just took him to another world.
Right. Okay. Okay. Um, so what happened in your life that you decided to start practicing yoga and meditation? What was like the pivotal moment in your life where you decided to try these modalities?
Yeah, he's showing me just like burnout, like constantly on the road, not being grounded, like going from here, there, everywhere. But he's also showing me people's energy just pulling at him. Like everyone wanted something from him. So this feeling of like depletion and exhaustion. And he's saying like that was he he's showing me he tried everything else, frankly, and it wasn't really working. So it was kind of like there was nothing else to try at that point. And yeah, when he did start meditating, it took a bit, but once he got into it, he was really able to quiet the thoughts, call back his energy. He was just showing me like his aura was kind of more whole at that point. So it wasn't so many, I guess, cords of attachment pulling on him. And he just, yeah, he felt grounded. It was the first time in a long time he felt okay in his body.
Okay. So transcendental meditation is very difficult for a lot of people. I've tried it. I can't. I still like am not there. Um, so how are you able to quiet your mind to be able to transport yourself to that?
Yeah, he's saying mind over matter. So a lot of the time it's just not judging yourself, allowing whatever thoughts to be present. Like when the more you try and resist, obviously the more thoughts there's going to be. So yeah, I mean it's the same practice and like letting go of expectations too. And I'm I'm struggling with this question. So I'm like, is it me answering or is it him? But I'm a meditation teacher as well. But yeah, no, he's saying practice, letting go of expectations and just yeah, mind over matter and accepting the thoughts. And then once you accept them, you can kind of transmute them and
Okay.
transcend them.
What was your childhood like? We got a little glimpse of it in the documentary, but we didn't really get to like see or really know who Tim was kind of as a child. What were things that you liked to do? Did you play any sports? Was there anything that you really loved to do?
Yeah, he's showing me like it was just a really simple life. Like, he was the same age as us, so just really simple, like not a lot of screens, being outside a lot, playing with friends. He's showing me a little bit of soccer. I don't think he necessarily loves sports because of his sensitive nature, but he did
Yeah.
play some when he was younger. And yeah, he's just saying like he was very close with his family. He's saying friends was a little bit difficult because he never felt like he fit in. And
Mm-hmm.
he the way that it's coming across to me anyways is like he was so wise beyond his years, like very mature that it was hard to fit in and kind of I guess be a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So kind of move on to some deeper questions.
Yeah.
Um, it was said that you struggled with thoughts about meaning and life and happiness. Are you able to explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, he's acknowledging there was certain points in his life where he could be classified as depressed. But he's showing me there's a lot of influences too, like again, the traveling, never being in one place for more than a couple of days, the food, the pressure. Um, yeah, he's really just saying that's not what life's about, right? Like we look at all of these people and want their success and think they must live this beautiful, amazing life. And yes, there are parts that are amazing. You do get to travel and you get to do what you love, but he's saying like life is the little things. Life is, drinking your favorite warm beverage in the morning or taking a walk outside or playing with your pets or your kids or right. It's those little things you might take for granted. And when you're constantly going, you miss out on a lot of that and it starts to not feel like the life.
Yeah.
And
So,
oh
oh
sorry, he
yeah.
was just saying like he's obviously very grateful. He can see now from the place that he's in like how blessed he was, financially and just the opportunities that he had available to him. But I guess when you're in it and your body's telling you something different, it's hard to have that focus and that thankfulness.
So now that you have passed, do you think that you fully understand like the meaning of life and what happiness is?
Um, he kind of just laughed. He laughed because like the meaning is just so vague. Like he's almost saying like
Ah,
there is no meaning, not in like a depressive way, but like we all have our own unique reasons
yes,
that we're
right,
here, right? Um, and then yeah, he says happiness too, like it ebbs and it flows, and it's a state of an emotion, and kind of like in heaven or the afterlife or whatever you want to call it. He's saying it's just more of a it's like a more of just an unconditional love baseline. And there's moments of joy, but you're not really so much attached to them. There's not that pursuit of happiness that we have here on earth.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Um, so prior to your passing, um, there was speculations that you were working on a documentary. But now that documentary is nowhere, like nowhere to be found. Um, I want to say Joe Rogan talked about it and how like there's just no sign of it. Were you working on a documentary prior to your passing?
Yeah, as soon as you said that, I heard yes, correct. And I just have like chills down my spine. So it does feel like there was, yeah, I'm getting the word like takedown and I'm just seeing it like completely removed. I don't know.
Will it ever come out? Will anything about what you documented ever come out?
So he's saying, sadly, all of the recordings are destroyed, but he's saying the energy and the knowledge is still available, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Is someone else going to be working on it on something similar that will ever come out?
The way this comes across, he's saying like it's gonna already come out before there's ever any documentary or any sort of so the knowledge will already be out before
Before there's actually some sort of documentary about it, people are,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Um, so what when you decided to go to Oman, what was your intention um prior to your going on that trip?
Yeah, he was just kind of showing me like sunshine, like he needed a break. The way that it was like pitched to him was like, this beautiful place and just like fun. And so there was just this invitation there that was nice and warm and fun and seemed like a good place to go, I guess.
Was there someone who had invited you to Oman?
Yeah, he's saying multiple people.
I had read somewhere that a prince, I'm not exactly sure the prince or but that a prince had invited you to Oman.
Truth and tread lightly, he's saying.
Okay, okay. Where did you stay when you were in Oman, or did you kind of move around?
Yeah, he's showing me there was a couple different locations, hotels. So like there was one visit to a house or a bigger house. But yeah, he did get to explore a little bit. He's saying he was there for, yeah, over 10 days, it feels like, over a week.
Okay.
Mhm.
Who did you go to Oman with?
Yeah, he's saying myself. It feels like he was meeting people there.
Okay, so you went to Oman on your own, you took the plane by yourself, and then you just met people while you were there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Um, so in the Avicii documentary that just came out, we saw that you had made plans um, with musicians and other artists, and you had made plans to meet up with them when you were returning back to Oman. Was it always your plan to come back?
Yeah, yeah. He's saying there was like, he didn't have any intention on passing or even saying going there. He had no knowing. He's saying about the last 3, 4 days, he started to feel like something was off.
When you were there and things started to feel off, did you talk to anyone about it? Did you have any communication with your family or your team back home?
He's saying no because he didn't want people to feel like he was crazy. Like he talked to the people he was with, but yeah, he didn't reach out to anyone who wasn't there.
Okay.
Mhm.
Um, are you able to share a little bit about the day that you passed? So prior to your passing, can you kind of walk us through the type of day you had?
And there feels like there's a lot of heaviness and darkness to it. He's showing me there was a meeting or a yeah, just meeting up with someone, and he knew like there's almost a sense of like dread internally, like at like the pit of your stomach.
Yep.
So he was kind of carrying that with him. I feel like, yeah, he doesn't want to go too graphic, I don't think. Um, what do you want, Sarah? What do you want me to? There, yeah, it was almost, I guess, like I'm almost like a paranoid feeling a little bit, like someone's watching me, that kind of feeling. Yeah, and just dread. And looking back, he can see like he was right, but at the time he kind of thought he was losing his mind a little bit. Like why am I feeling like this, right? Like that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, he's. How do you want me to word this? It does. Sorry, just give me a minute. Just asking him to speak his truth. It just feels like there's yeah, I just keep getting like a takedown. But it wasn't like it was almost like he was in it and it was too late. Like it wasn't surprise. Like they made him do things to make it look like he took his own life. Um, so yeah, there was some fear there. Yeah, very, very dark. Mm-hmm. He's showing me this is something he does want to say. Like he doesn't want as dark and heavy as his passing was. He just wants to acknowledge like he did get to a moment of surrender and acceptance that he was able to find peace even before he died.
Okay.
So just knowing that like even though there was all this darkness around him, he was able to go. I quote this because obviously it was brutal and it wasn't peaceful, but he felt peace inside. Um, and he's also saying too, and this is something that came through earlier, like, you know, his death is very tragic and it affected a lot of people, but he's saying he was never meant to be here for a long time. Like he fulfilled his purpose, he fulfilled his mission, he lived, he's saying at least 10 lifetimes in his one lifetime. And there was many, well, not many, but there was a few different points or exit points, I guess, for him to go, and that was just one of them, unfortunately. But they were all pretty close together within a few years. So he's saying like, you know, it was inevitable. He was never meant to be here for a long period of time.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and then another thing, and I'm just saying this, it did come through earlier, is like, you know, there's questions obviously around his death, and even the statement itself doesn't make sense. And when you watch the documentary, there's a lot of his friends and family who are like, it doesn't make sense. There was no signs. You know, there's a lot of questions for sure. And it's always just trusting your gut because your intuition knows, right? A lot of people from the beginning knew something was wrong. And I guess at that point in time when he passed, a lot of things weren't really out yet, but um, they didn't question it as much as they probably would have today if he passed. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess, yeah, the main message is always just trust your gut. I think a lot of people have a deeper inner knowing that it wasn't what they said it was.
Is there a reason that it wasn't? Is there is there a reason that it wasn't pushed for more answers? Like
Yeah,
was
he's saying there was a lot of cover up. It was like even at the state official, um, like that level, that's how far it went to being covered up. So,
okay.
mhm.
Okay. Okay. Um so when you put out your first song, which was Levels, right? Right? Yeah.
Mhm. Well,
Um
the first big one, yeah.
the first big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's the original and then there's the radio edit. Um are you the one who approves all of those edits? Or, I mean, they're very, very different. Um,
Mhm.
so how, who makes those edits? Because you essentially created the music, um, and then you put it out there, but then what happens? That makes
Yeah,
sense?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's glad you brought that up because you can tell a difference in the frequency between the original and the edit. And he's saying it's kind of like it's kind of at the label level, like they're kind of
Okay.
giving me like a strong hand, like, okay, you have to change it if you want this. And it wasn't like, oh, because the freak, like there was no talk of because of the frequency. It was more
No.
because, oh, the intro is too long or whatever the case was, right?
Yeah.
So it made it seem like that. Um, and then yeah, he's showing me that he did have some approval for changing it, but they did it again too.
Did you ever get to a point in your career where if the label wanted to change something and you didn't want to, you were able to say, no, we're not changing it. This is my final edit and this is what I'm putting out?
Um, so not he's showing me like when he was in it, like when the touring and all the hits, he wasn't really able to. But he's saying that's why he wanted to take a step back because there was a lot of pressure and just
Yeah.
not agreeing with certain things. But yeah, near the end when he was just creating on his own for fun, he was able to do what he wanted.
So you collaborated with so many amazing artists. My personal favorite is Chris Martin because I love Coldplay and I love the songs that you guys did together. Was there a dream collaboration that you either did or that you wanted to do and just never had the chance to make happen?
Yeah, he's saying he's very grateful for everyone he did, but he really wanted to take his style of music to all genres.
Mm-hmm.
So he wanted to collab like with country artists and just like things that typically wouldn't go together. So he's saying there's for sure um yeah, Ed sharing. And when you said that when you were first talking, I heard Sia, which was really fun, random.
Oh, I
Um,
love Sia. That would have been amazing.
yeah, so he's definitely saying there was more. And then like yeah, even people who came out after him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you have a favorite song that you released?
He's saying, yeah, he loves all of them in his own unique way. The one he's probably most proud of, it surprises me, is Hey Brother.
Okay.
Yeah, just because of the deeper meaning of that song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even like if you watch the documentary, there was um like so much skepticism about that song, right? When it first came out. And then the country artist that did it with him, right? And then we get to see the artist talking to his daughter about, hey, do you know who Avicii is? And she's like, oh my goodness, he's like the most amazing, DJ. Why? And he's like, oh, he wants to do a song with me, right? Like, and you can like sense that energy, which I think is pretty cool. Um, is there anything that I didn't touch upon that he wants to bring up? I know he's very private and like I wanted to touch more on like the meditation and the yoga and his energy. Um,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
I guess, yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
go ahead.
Oh, yeah. He was just gonna say, he's very thankful. Like, just again, it's hard to take it in when you're busy and you're doing all the things. He's showing me like he had worked basically from the moment he woke up to the moment he went to bed. Like there was never
Wait,
really
I mean, which we really did see that on the
yeah.
documentary.
So he was saying he didn't really get to fully take it in, like how millions of people around the world supported him and loved him. And he can see that now from where he is. And even till this day, like he's like, it's crazy that people still listen to my songs from over 10 years ago, right? But yeah, he's very thankful. And he does want to acknowledge too, yeah, coming back to mental health and his struggles. And he's just saying, like, reach out for help, whether that's a friend, a loved one, a therapist. You don't have to do it alone, and you'd be surprised at how many people struggle in this world. And a lot of the times you think you're alone, but there's so many people who you can lean on for support. And we're all here, we're all walking each other home. And yeah, just get help. And he's saying, if hopefully my music in any way or any sort of music is healing and it's therapy and it can help you. But if you need more support, get more support. And there's no shame in it. And coming back to these practices again, but everyone is unique. So maybe for you, it's drawing or singing or writing or being outside or being with animals or meditating or doing yoga or whatever that is for you. Just coming back to those practices that make you whole again is what he's saying. So
Did he have a lot of support?
he did. He's saying he did. Like he had the most loving family, friends. Like he had a very good group of people around him. And he just he was scared to be vulnerable. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why he's really saying, like, ask for help. Yes, you have to be vulnerable, but ask for help. Yeah. I'm just going through what I okay, so yeah, I wanted to ask him too, like, why did he come here? Like, why was he reincarnated as him? And because yeah, he's not like he's definitely a star seed. He's not from this galaxy. If you don't know what that means, that just means there's other planets and galaxies around the universe, and
Yeah.
Earth, unfortunately, is the dentist. So,
Yeah.
um, a lot of the times when these, yeah, beings from other planets, galaxies come, their frequency is so high and it can be challenging for them. But yeah, he's saying really just to uplift. And he didn't know this at the time. He's like, I would never say this if I was alive. But looking back, he can see just like uplifting humanity and changing the frequency of the world. Because when he did start, and this is just me saying this, in like about 2011, 2012, that's when the Earth energy really shifted. And we started getting into these higher frequencies and letting go of, capitalism and the masculine energy. And he's really, yeah, like he's a pioneer in that. And I don't know if he wants to acknowledge that or not, but like his frequency of music is a lot of it was the heart frequency, right? The 432.
Yeah.
So he really, really helped. And even his lyrics, even though sometimes they could be sad and emotional when you look into them, it makes you feel something, right? It connects you back to your heart and how you're feeling. And I know his music helped me get through a lot of hard times in my life. So very, very grateful for him. And yeah, I just want to ask if there's anything. Well, let's ask what he misses. So, what do you miss anything about her? Yeah, his family, his friends. He's saying just hugging people and having that physical connection. He's saying he's with them every day, but obviously it's not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another thing he wants to bring up too, and I don't know, was this said in the documentary? I don't know, but he's saying, like, look people in the eyes. Because a lot of the times we avoid each other and we're on our screens or we're just not looking at people. But he's saying, look people in the eyes because you can really tell how they're doing and where they're at when you connect in that way. And that's like the eyes are the window to your soul, right? So you're having that connection. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. He's saying he misses some places, like some, you know, visiting like tranquil places and seeing the water. Water feels like it was very healing for him, but and he still gets to experience that. It's just not the same as being in a physical body.
Yeah.
And then I just wanted to ask him too, like, how can we celebrate his life? He's just, yeah, he's saying like listening to his music. He hears your prayers, your thoughts, like dancing, just having fun. He's saying we take ourselves so serious, we forget to have fun. We stress about money. We stress about how we look. We stress about not having X, Y, Z. And he's saying just leave all that behind and have fun, dance, be silly. Yeah. Oh, and he does. It feels like they're sitting on some of his music he didn't release.
Okay.
Like I feel like his family has access to it, and there's gonna be the right people who are gonna truly honor him. And I feel like at the right time things might come out, but there is definitely a big body of music that didn't get released yet. And
Okay.
more of a timing thing, but the new music is very healing. He was bringing a lot of his spirituality into his newer stuff. So,
Okay.
mhm.
So I have a few questions from my son that I want to ask. And um, these are like I don't know neither you and I know the answers to these. These are very much for Tim and Avicii.
Yeah.
So the very first one is it was it easy for you to make music on FL Studio, which is like the software that he uses?
Yeah. He said there was definitely a learning curve. It's not yeah, he's saying the technology that's available now, or even the last few years when he was practicing, is so different. But at the time, it was like the greatest thing in the world. So,
Because
it,
it is still a thing. Like um yeah, it is still very much a thing. So I'm assuming that it has obviously gotten better and
yeah.
different as yeah, right? Okay. Um what is your favorite song you wrote and what is your favorite lyric?
Mm. Okay, he's gonna go with ones we know because he is saying there are some that are his favorite that never got released.
Okay.
There's so many. Um, and I feel like a lot of them he collaborated, right? Like it wasn't
Yeah.
him writing it, but
Yeah.
he does love Wake Me Up. And then he loves, no, he didn't write that one though. He loves though Sky Full of Stars because again, just the meaning, but that one was channeled to Chris, right? Is that his name?
Yeah.
And then yeah, I just keep hearing "Wake Me Up When It's Over," "Wake Me Up When I'm Wiser and I'm Older."
Okay.
I know that's just a really popular one, but I just feel like it had such a big, it still does. It still has such a big meaning for Earth and humanity. And
Sure. And
yeah.
I mean even for him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um so you and I, Anne, have both talked about how my son's energy is very, very, very similar to Tim's. His like sensitivity, all of that stuff, very, very similar. Um, and so my son wanted to know if you have ever had any past lives together.
Yeah, it's interesting. He's not showing me past lives, but he's showing if you look on your lineage, there's a connection there.
Okay.
Like far, far back. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
To to him specifically?
Like his family. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, not past life, current life, which is
Okay.
crazy. Because I would have
Yeah, because
guessed. Like,
I thought for sure that is there any other way that you and my son have connected?
he's showing me like your son is a star seed as well. So
Yeah,
there's
which
that.
we
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, so there's that crossover. They've been in a couple different or a couple
Okay.
same
Yeah,
but different galaxies.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
As
And
you and I both said, and even just like he has listened to Avicii for so long. Wake Me Up is his absolute favorite song.
yeah.
Um, but he like listened to it even before, like I'm sure he had heard it through me, but never like really questioned like, who wrote this or who is
Right.
this? And then he just like somehow found Tim's music on his own, and he comes home and he's like goes in his room, Alexa, play Avicii. That's literally and then like if he gets my phone in the vehicle, that's like all that we listen to. We listened to Wake Me Up this morning on our way to school.
Yeah. And it's so cute. He loves that. He loves that. Like that's something he never even thought of, that his music would last that long. And that, this new generation of kids are finding him, right?
And I feel like it's so nice because I feel like this generation of kids, or most of them, are definitely on a different frequency. They definitely feel things more than we felt things, or I think maybe us as parents are like allowing them to feel more things,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Because like I don't think, like thinking back, I don't think my parents ever cared if I was like excited about a song. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
or like vibing
Pop
at a
us
different
off.
level. Yeah, right? Like, whereas like whenever I hear that music and then I can hear him like singing in his room, or he recently started like mixing music together. He has this app that he downloaded that you're able to like mash songs together and add different beats to it. Which is really, really sweet. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna go through that lineage and see where
Excited.
we
I'll
connect.
update.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, and he's just saying he loves that. And yeah, your son is very, very, very wise, very knowing, and he's here to do great things too. And just seeing his creativity, the beautiful gift he has.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think, do you have any other questions?
No, I think that was it. Um, yeah, no, I think that was it. That was really, really lovely.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you, Tim, for coming through. Is there anything else you would like to say? Yeah, he just wants to send love. He wants to send just support. He is saying there are some people who are still very like affected by his uh death, and he just wants to say he is at peace, and no matter how he did go, he is at peace, and he was at peace, even he found that in those last few moments. So just honor him, celebrate his life, but please live your life and um to the fullest, because he's saying it just goes by so quick, right? So enjoy your life, enjoy those um the things that you enjoy that make you feel like okay. So thank you, Tim. Thank you for everything you've done for this world, and thank you for coming today. All right.